Good Saturday afternoon. Been working out the Ulu knife this afternoon. Got a new style upgrade on the 20th century Ulu. It's not exactly like the original Ulu, so I hope that there's no patent or gripe about me calling it Ulu. If they do, I'll change it and I'll call it the 20th century Alaskan native knife, or Canadian Alaskan knife, or whatever they want to say. I'll just change the name of it. You know, if any of them has an offense about me calling it the new improved Ulu knife. I sent off for the patent on it today because there'll be a little difference than the actual Ulu knife, and like I said, I'm just going to call it the Alaskan native knife instead of, but I just want you to know it's the same thing, pretty close. It's not too far off from being what you call a Ulu knife, except that I put a different kind of handle on it that suits me better, and I'm about to show you why and what I like about my handle over their style. Well, what I do, I took a 1-inch bit, butterfly bit, drilled each end out. Then I took the, what do you call that, this saw right here, I call it a saber tooth, but it's not. It's a reciprocating saw. It just has no guard on the end. And I cut that out because I didn't have band saws and all that. But really, you couldn't have used a band saw here because you would cut your wooden tooth, and I don't want to cut my wooden tooth. I wanted this to be solid. I wanted this to fit my hand on either end, and I'm making a place that I'm wearing a spot down here that you can put your thumb, so when you're rocking back and forth on cutting something up on a cutting board, you've got a place there to put your thumb if you want to, or you can just lap it over like this. Either way, well, I'll do it with my left hand, so if you're left-handed, it won't matter. Use it that way, and it don't matter which end you pick up. It's always right side up anyway, either side. And I used a deli blade saw from a kitchen saws. All it was, just one of those Walmart specials, Rivals, I believe. But the old Rival food slicer had went out, so I had no place for this blade here to fit. So I used it to cut out a Ulu knife out of it. Now it's a little light. It will cut and chop. Of course, this edge will bend some because it's real thin. It's made for slicing. My next one I build will probably use a skill saw blade to make one out of it. Now it's a little heavier metal, which means that it would be a lot better than this one in some areas, especially for chopping, because this is a little heavier. Either way, you don't want to get your finger ever down under that cutter. That's why I built this type of handle here. You're up above it at all times. You put your onion or whatever in a wooden bowl or on a cutting board. You'll need a cutting board so you don't cut your cabinets up. But you can take this and just slice. When I'm finished with it, I will demonstrate. I'll cut up some vegetables on film and show you how it works. It was originally made for the Alaskan native women and men. They built them for skinning out their game with, and because they didn't use a knife really for a fighting tool, they mostly used spears and bows for their fighting tools, where my people used a knife regularly and a tomahawk for battle a lot too, as well as a bow or a spear. And you get good with a spear, buddy, you've done something. Because I'm going to tell you, a spear is really a good weapon once you learn to use it. And you can cast it up 40 yards if it's a good spear. Now, I haven't used a spear a whole lot, not for hunting anyway. I've used it just playing around, but not for hunting. Because I didn't need to. For one reason, I had bows, and the hunting bow works a lot better and easier to use. I can sling a But out in the bush, if you can't make a bow, a spear might be a second option. The best option that you're going to get if you don't have the materials to make a bow. To make a bow, you've got to have a bow stake. You'll need some type of hardwood, hickory, oak. White oak is good. Any hardwood though, bow dart is excellent. What they call Osage wood, I think it is. I just call it bow dart, and all it is, them little iron thorn trees. If you can get a straight enough piece out of it, they are really good for a bow. They'll hold up. And they won't break. They might even splinter out and look like they're going to, but they won't break down. Like I said, my knives are going to be made rustic on purpose. They won't be fancy like, you know, smoothed up on every edge, but just comfortable. Where the handhold goes, mostly, on any knife I build. But it's going to look pretty decent. I'm not going to put out something that don't look decent. Come out, you know, I'm breaking the rounded corners off here on the edges of them because I don't want to gouge it into me or anybody else that pick it up to use it. You want your handle made as comfortable as possible, especially if you're going to use that in the kitchen very long. Very many hours or even skinning game with it. This knife would gut any type of animal quick. It's razor sharp and you never have to sharpen it because it is a deli saw. Saw blade, piece of one. I made my cousin Melinda one like it, except I use plyboard on her handles, which won't last as long. And I'll probably have to put her another handle on it. When she comes back, that old handle splits off there, and it's ugly the way it went on because I had to. Well, I didn't have the drill bit at that time. I had to cut through one end and then on each side, two piece. Well, I made this a one piece, and I didn't have this oak here then. I didn't have the woodwork that I do now. I'm blessed. It all happened like making lemonade. You know, you can take lemon and make lemonades. Well, the city was hit here a while back with a tornado here in Port Oklahoma. Didn't take it as bad as they got it up north, up west and northwest Oklahoma. They got hit hard up around Oklahoma City and that other town, I can't think of the name of the town. But anyway, we had quite a bit of wind and tornadoes here in the area that blew down a lot of big oak trees. So I managed to get 3 trees. I got one hackberry, oak, and a hickory that fell over on the house. And I've been working this stuff out now for weeks and enjoying having some wood on it. Because now I can make all kinds of stuff with wood. I've always been a hand with wood. Wood is one of my favorite hobbies. I make good money with motorcycles in the past too. Another one of my hobbies, but I don't have no motorcycle at this time. Usually it's motorcycle parts that I sold. Things like that. Cattle, I've made money with livestock. But right now, I wouldn't say it'd be a good time to try to make any money with livestock unless you own your own land. And even if you do, you got to have equipment and the fuel to bale that hay. You're going to have equipment in order to bale any hay unless you want to stack it up, you know, in a stack and not bale it. You just put a fence around it or some cow panels till winter comes where you're going to feed your horses or cattle. Because there ain't no way to bale that I know of without having a gasoline engine holder. There probably is a way, but I don't know of a way. We've always had to have a gasoline engine, or before we got before we had a way to bale any hay, we had to stack it in stacks and fence it off till in the pasture or wherever we were going to feed the cows at, and that's where we would leave it at, haul it over and stack it up. You pick it up, throw it on a truck and pitchfork, get up there and stomp it down with your feet. And I've done a lot of that. And then we'd stack that stuff, and you know, these kids today want them trampolines. Well, they would have had a blast on the hay. We had to stomp and tromp till we was tired. All day long, me and my sis did that.